From Neural Newscast, this is Deep Dive, exploring the moments that shape today.
Good morning. I'm Claire Donovan.
And I'm Peter Rowan. It's March 8th, 2026. Welcome to Deep Dive.
Today carries a heavy weight of political and social history. Peter, we often think of International Women's Day as a time for celebration, but its origins are deeply rooted in labor strikes and even the collapse of empires.
That is absolutely correct. Specifically, we have to look at March 8th, 1917 in Petrograd. At that time, Russia was exhausted by the toll of the First World War, and the tension finally reached a breaking point.
It was textile workers who really led the way. They walked out of their factories and took to the streets, demanding bread and peace. It wasn't just a minor labor dispute. These women were protesting the very survival of their families under wartime rationing.
Exactly. The speed at which it escalated was staggering. Within days, those strikes grew into broader civil unrest that pulled in the entire city. It became the start of the February Revolution. By the end of the week, Tsar Nicholas II was forced to abdicate.
Imagine that. Over 300 years of Romanov imperial rule ended, sparked by women demanding basic necessities. It's a powerful reminder of how workplace and economic grievances can fundamentally reshape a nation's governance.
Right. It also had a direct policy impact for those women. The provisional government that followed granted Russian women the right to vote, which was a massive victory at a time when many other nations were still resisting suffrage.
It's interesting to note that the date itself, March 8th, actually comes from the shift from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. The strike began on February 23rd in the Old Russian calendar, which aligns with March 8th everywhere else.
That historical thread of demanding change really sets the tone for our birthdays today, Claire, because our first featured figure revolutionized how we understand the very building blocks of our world.
You're talking about Otto Hahn, born on this day in 1879. He is often called the father of nuclear chemistry, and for good reason.
Hahn's work on nuclear fission of uranium, which he discovered alongside Lise Meitner and Fritz Strassmann, earned him the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1944. It's one of those discoveries that changed everything, laying the foundation for both nuclear energy and eventually atomic weapons.
It's a complex legacy, Peter. He was a pure scientist who found himself at the center of the most consequential discovery of the 20th century. While he focused on the mechanics of atoms, the institutional impact of his work moved far beyond the lab.
Speaking of institutional impact, we also celebrate the birthday of a man who spent 30 years defining American law. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. was born on March 8, 1841.
Justice Holmes is such a fascinating figure in the legal world. He's known as the Great Dissenter because he wasn't afraid to stand apart from his colleagues on the Supreme Court to protect what he saw as essential civil liberties.
Absolutely. He authored the famous clear and present danger test for free speech. He was a master of pacing and logic in his opinions, shaping the way we interpret the Constitution even today. He believed the law should evolve alongside society rather than being stuck in the past.
While Holmes was interpreting the law, our third birthday honoree, Louise Beavers, was challenging the cultural status quo. Born in 1902, she became a prominent black actress during an era when Hollywood was extremely restrictive in its roles for people of color.
It's true. She really broke through with her performance in the 1934 film Imitation of Life. She brought a level of humanity and depth to her character that was rarely seen at the time, helping to push back against the flat stereotypes that the industry often imposed on black performers.
It's a story of individual resilience in the workplace that mirrors our earlier discussion about systemic change. And that brings us to our fact of the day, which takes us even further back in American history to a truly pioneering moment for human rights.
On March 8, 1777, Vermont became the first United States jurisdiction to abolish slavery. This was done through their very first Constitution, which explicitly stated that all men are born free and equal.
What's so striking, Peter, is that this happened more than a decade before the United States Bill of Rights was even a reality. Vermont set a precedent that other northern states would follow over the next few decades. It was a bold declaration of human dignity in the midst of the Revolutionary War.
It shows that even in the earliest days of the nation, there were clear voices advocating for the total abolition of slavery, grounded in the same language of liberty that defined the era.
From the streets of Petrograd to the Constitution of Vermont, March 8th is truly a day of revolutionary firsts. I'm Claire Donovan.
And I'm Peter Rowan. You can find our full archives at deepdive.neuralnewscast.com. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Deep Dive is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. Explore history every day on Neural Newscast.
This has been Deep Dive on Neural Newscast, exploring the moments that shape today. Neural Newscast uses artificial intelligence in content creation, with human editorial review prior to publication. While we strive for factual, unbiased reporting, AI-assisted content may occasionally contain errors. Verify critical information with trusted sources. Learn more at neuralnewscast.com.